Welcome back, everyone, to the Nexans show. So today we're going to do something a little different, and like we've been doing recently, doing some recaps. So today we're going to do a recap of Season 2, Episode 2. Sujith is going to basically walk us through the episode, and I'll just see if I have any questions. I'm basically struggling to keep up, so we're going to recap stuff. And hopefully it helps, watching the rest of the episodes. So we're doing Season 2, Episode 1, Episode 2, and Episode 3. And then we'll probably continue to do some more if needed. Take it away, Stu.
We recently did episode 1, so there are going to be obviously spoilers until that episode in this one as well. But what happened in the last episode, we learned about new lives after 7-8 months after the events of the season finale. We know that Apocalypse is going to happen on 27th June, which is about 5 or 6 days away at this point. Jonas is trying to go back to figure things out. So that is where we also start this particular episode. I think there's a giant number of information dump that just happens right at the beginning of this episode, where we hear someone talking on the radio as they are taking the notes about what we call the God particle and how this can potentially be controlled, like using some form of electricity that you can possibly form this blob into something that you can travel time with and things like that. So we see Jonas just sitting there trying to fiddle with it because he sees this as a potential doorway for him to travel back to his time so that he can go there and stop the apocalypse from happening. And as he's doing it, we see at one point he almost succeeds. There are a lot of lightning coming out. The blob forms into a nice little spear, and all of a sudden everything goes out because he was out of oil on that generator that he was using to form the electricity. So he uses a giant boom box to get some oil from a tank in that apocalypse time period. And we also see young Mikkel, or now Michael, in 1987, not 86, where he's having a little bit hard time just adjusting to 80s. We see Claudia, Regina. They are trying to go to school or something when Egon tries to say something to Claudia, but she's too busy. But Egon understands the situation. She's a busy woman trying to handle the power plant and all of that stuff. So he sets aside his feelings and what he wanted to talk about with his daughter. Which Claudia is also very oblivious to her relationship with Egon as well as Regina. Yep, so Charlotte is looking at the picture of the Noah and the group when Clausen shows up, when he also sees the picture of Noah on the desk as they are going to meet Regina. And then we have stranger Jonas, who shows the time machine to Hannah. She was pretty motivated in season 1 to do some shit to Ulrich. Since Ulrich isn't there anymore, she's probably... also, she has gone through some shit as well. But she's just trying to fathom exactly what's happening. I think before that, in episode 1, we also forgot to mention that she also tries to kill herself with a gun. Exactly at the time when Jonas shows up at the door. Oh, and also one major thing happens is the older Claudia comes visit the younger Claudia, where she tells her all about the time traveling aspect of things and what type of show that she is living in, and she also gives the coordinate to where the time travel is going to be buried, which is practically in a backyard, which she buries in I think 1953. Oh, and also we find out that Alexander and Regina are a thing. Alexander is taking really good care of Regina once they meet in the last episode.
Wait. You forgot to mention that, surprisingly enough, Jonas is actually quite resourceful and smart. Not only did he figure out how to do, or not how to, he didn't figure out the actual science behind it, but he was resourceful enough to listen to that radio thing or that recording of that woman and figure out how to play these people, and ballsy enough to actually procure the gas in such a he did so well. So yeah, he's actually quite smart and pretty cool. Kind of a hero But
Yeah. I think we do know that he gets a lot more resourceful than we have seen on like most of the season 1.
yeah,
Because he does turn into Stranger Jonas, and he's talking to scientists and trying to figure out how to even fucking end the time traveling aspect of Winden. So I think this is the progression that we see. Like this is his first step into that particular direction as a character, you know. But yeah, so Regina and Clausen and Charlotte meet in Regina's home, where they are talking about all the people disappearing, and that's when Regina mentions about the stranger that came into her hotel with the boxes of things, which looks a lot less than what I initially thought he had in that room, because I thought he had like shit ton of stuff that would fill up 5 boxes. And that's when Charlotte also sees the book that was written by her grandfather, Edgy Tannhaus, Journey Through Time. I think that's what it's called. She freaks out a little bit and she runs away, and Clausen had to take a taxi, unfortunately. Like we mentioned earlier, Mikkel is having some trouble in the ear. So he tries to find his hole to go travel back, where Noah is waiting with his apple and his temptation or whatever. Egon never got to question Helge in last season, where he wanted to ask him about why didn't he take the forest, like why Forest Road or whatever.
Yeah.
So he goes on to meet Helge in a mental institute. We find out that he was admitted to mental institute, which we see the older Helge. He keeps on being at the mental institute with TikTok after this particular accident. This pretty much caused him to pretty much lose his remaining sanity and just gets admitted permanently into that hospital until the time when he grows old, goes back and time to kill himself and admit his younger self into a mental institute. They find Jonas, Elizabeth and the group, they find Jonas as he is traveling there to again meet the God particle, whatever. And as we know, they are not great about finding people there, because they hang them. It's like the French delegates in the last episode. Yeah, as they are trying to hang Jonas, for some reason Elizabeth changes her mind. Jonas, like after a few seconds of Jonas just hanging there with a gigantic scar on his neck, after shooting him on the foot. So Jonas goes through some shit. And then we later see that Egon is also very curious about Ulrich as well, and he's trying to figure out what he did in the past, if it was the right thing to do, and he's having some second thoughts about that particular situation. He finds out that the man that he put in jail 34 years ago is still in a mental institute, so he goes on to visit Ulrich, which he does not know is Ulrich at this time. Yeah. And Ulrich pretty much just mocks him. He's like, "You are fucking naive, dude. You need to learn what the hell is going on, because I'm not from around here." And we also find out that the Celia, I think that's how to pronounce her name. She is curious why Elizabeth let Jonas go. So probably it's a character that you don't remember very well. I don't know how much you are into that character. Yeah. But she's all curious about like what the hell, you know. Elizabeth pretty much kills everybody without a second thought, but why Jonas was not killed. And she helps him escape from that place into the nuclear plant factory. We also see Hannah, who sees Mikkel in the past, because older Jonas takes her to 1987, where he sees her. Pretty much Jonas and Celia become successful in stabilizing the God particle, through which Jonas first tries to see if he can lose his hand and lose his entire body in it. Just dives in. End of the episode.
Right. Oh, one thing though. I just found this out. I think it's interesting. When younger Claudia is digging to bury the stuff, I forgot what she gave her actually. What did she give her?
What did she give her to bury?
Yeah.
It was a time traveling machine.
Oh yes, but she dug 3 holes.
It's probably just trying to figure out different places. Like, it may not be exactly 100% accurate. There's no flag or anything like that, so it probably needs to dig up in multiple places.
Interesting. Oh, okay. Makes sense then. That's fair.
But interestingly, it is exactly 3, and this show is all about 3s, you see.
It's a good point.
33, 3 paths, and
yeah.
Most of the characters have 3 versions of themselves that we see in 53, 86, and 97, 2019 or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm not surprised that they also saw like 3 holes,
Yeah. That's fair.
It's on par with what show does.
I can't say I have a lot of questions, but hilariously enough, it's like, as you tell me these things, I'm like, yep, got it. But like when things happen, it's like, oh wait, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
That's funny. But yep, that was the review, I guess. Well done.
Nice. But yeah, I mean, it is kind of so, like I mentioned, I think from the beginning, it is something that you would most likely watch twice to get the full understanding.
Yeah.
Especially after you have the entire context. Watching it comes from a completely different place as you're watching it for the first time.
Right.
Because whatever happened in season 1, episode 1, when you go back and watch now, you'll see completely different things than what you saw when you watched it for the first time.
Yeah.
Because when you're watching for the first time, you're just trying to just catch up to all the characters. Like, you don't know which character is important, you don't know what the hell they are doing, or what part of that particular show is even important,
Right.
Going back, rewatching it, you'll know, okay, there's Jonas, this is why he does it, because this is what he says in the future, blah, blah, blah,
Makes sense.
So yeah, this is why this show is something that needs multiple viewings to fully grasp the situation.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. This is actually very helpful for, I'm sure when we watch episode 4, when we review episode 3, it's like, it's just fresher in my mind, so that when things are happening, I'm like, oh, that's why. So this is helpful no matter what. So, yeah.
Absolutely. So, yeah, so that has been the recap for episode number 2 for season 2, unless you want to add anything else to that, Akash.
Double thumbs up. It's good.
Awesome. And thanks a lot, guys, for watching. I know this is a very short video, but we just wanted to catch up to all this episode before we move on to the next episode, which is going to be episode number 3. And then we'll watch episode number 4 after that, which gets to some pretty amazing detail that, I'm really waiting to see. And thanks a lot for watching. If you like that video, give that like button a click, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in our next video. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.